Nathaniel, it's so interesting talking to you. I want to hear about your passion for your writing.
Thank you. My passion for my writing comes from the fact that I was a history teacher. And we can read something that was written by Romans and learn from Aristotle back in the Greek days. Nobody else can do that. A wolf is intelligent, but it can only go back, it can only learn from its parents. It can't go back 500 years and learn from that. And the fact that I taught history makes me realize that people can read and get intelligence from what you write. The first book I wrote was called Rumors About My Father, which was about my father. Mm-hmm. And I wrote it so my students could read something from the 20th century. He was in World War II. He went through the Depression, and he was even in the Jewish mafia. And they could read about it and find out about it and get credit for reading about instead of reading 20th century in a history book, they're reading about somebody who actually lived it. Later I was tutoring a kid who was in 5th grade, and I wanted to write something he could read. So I started out just a story, and that story became a chapter, which became a whole book, and that became Roger Raintree's 7th Grade Blues, and he read it and he loved it. So that's where my passion comes from.
You know, Bob, we met in a memoir class, and so I know that you're working on memoir, and I've heard some very interesting stories that you've shared. So what do you see going on after you've finished that work?
Well, first of all, before this, I've written everything as fiction, so I had total deniability. In the memoir, it's the truth, and that's the way it is. No, I'm just saying that it's harder to do memoir because you're trying to keep the truth. You can't go outside the facts. But Tom Robbins showed me that you can write memoir and still be creative, and that's what I'm trying to do.